Hello, my friends. Good morning. Hope you guys are doing well wherever you are at. Today is a beautiful morning here, and I'm very happy. I try to be happy most of the time. I want to give a big shout out to all the subscribers, especially John Craig, who just subscribed to my channel. And he actually put my video on his Facebook page. So I appreciate that. Thank you, John. And an old friend of mine, her name is Sherry, but we call her Share Bear. And so thank you for subscribing. I don't think she has seen any of my videos, but thank you for subscribing and supporting me. And all you fine people who have subscribed, I really appreciate your support. And you could be watching something else and yet giving me your valuable time. So it's not taken for granted, just so you know that. So today's topic I'm going to talk about is getting a good deal. Is the deal fair? Now, many times we come across in life and we all are looking for the greatest deal we can find. But is it a fair deal? Sometimes it sounds too good to be true, then it's probably not true. Or could be true. It all depends on the situation. So the 3 points that I feel like for a fair deal is try to find value. You got to try and find value in it. Second of all, sustainability. Are you able to handle the situation that goes with the deal? And the third one is, and that's walking away with loss or with profit. So those 3 components for having a good deal is a fair deal, in my opinion. Now, my opinions are my thoughts, and it may differ from a lot of the gurus and a lot of different people who are expert in finance, contracts, and dealings. But for me, this has worked in my life. Now, any things that have happened that are not good is me knowing about it. I still signed up for it, and that's on me. But normally, I don't let people take advantage of me. And by talking about the value, is if I am going to suffer liability and it's not going to bring anything return on my investment, I don't do that deal. I just walk away from it. And the sustainability is the risk of the tolerance. Like, am I able to endure this deal? And I will go with you in this in a moment. And the loss, am I gonna be able to bear the loss? Value is just as recently as my brother and we were talking about. My brother found a publishing company. He's publishing a book, and I wish him all the best. And he found a good deal, great value. And I know him and I, we don't see eye to eye, and we think totally differently when it comes to business. But for me, what works for me is I scrutinize things hardcore. I am very, very thorough with where I put my money into and how I put my money in. Well, this publishing company asked him to give upfront all the money. And when somebody asks me upfront money, when in a business deal, when I have not had the product or anything as such, it's a contractual. I never do that. That is just not me. What I end up doing is I shop for people who will work on my terms as well. I want to respect their terms, but I say, let's do an addendum on what I am saying and what you have in place. That's great. But where is my protection? What do I do? So my brother gave them the money, and now they're running into some issues. Although in the defense of the publishing company, they have offered him to refund his money. Long story short, they're still negotiating, working out the deal. I would have done things differently. I didn't tell my brother that, but I always only give a third of the money, a third in the process, and then third final payment. And that's just the way I do. And of course, what are the balances? I feel like I'm in control because when you give the money up front, you're at their mercy. They could take time. And if you tell them to say you did not finish in the fair amount of time, what are you going to do? You have a choice to walk out. And that happened to me when I was building this house, because they told me within 6 months you will have your house ready. So we signed up with a lease with a rental company for an apartment for 6 months. They said 5 months, but we said 6 months just in case, things happen. We know, nothing is guaranteed as such. It took us a year. So on $500,000, you get 5%, and like, I have a choice. I can walk away, but I would lose. I could go to another home, buy another home, but my loss, that's a great loss. In the contract, there was nowhere said that they have to finish months, so to speak. So they took a year. Now, my wife doesn't have that kind of patience, so she was on them, and then because of her, I got involved because I'm a patient guy. I just, It was affecting me because the value was not coming out of it, as I was paying an apartment on some money and I'd already given deposit to them. So I was kind of losing money. I have to just keep my sanity. So I'm like, whatever. They were giving excuses. Oh, we can't find materials. People are not coming to work and so forth. All the excuses in the book. And so I kind of pushed the envelope, and finally the guy who represented the builder said, the price of the materials are going up. We are not charging you more. We are keeping the house to what the price was. We could charge you more, but we are not. You could walk away from your money. So he, gently, he was threatening me that if you don't want it, you could leave your deposit. So I just said, fine. And we are here, and we're happy, and we are friends, the representative of the builder. So no harm done. It was just a matter of time. That's where the sustainability comes. Even though I paid him a third. So the endurance level, everybody that has to have, sometimes it's not there. And we create frustration, animosity, and anger. And my brother has to go through those situations in his life right now to deal with the publisher. And talking about integrity, the lady, the publisher, she offered him hey, I will return your money if you're not happy. We want you to be happy as a customer. But she is going to deduct. She's not just going to hand him all the money, because they did put labor in, they did put some work. They will deduct all that money and then hand him 20% or whatever out of the 100% he's given, or 30%. Well, you don't get the book, you lost the money, and you get only 30%, and the time is wasted. So it's just best to just endure, because the contract says they still have 12 months to finish. So it's in the 7th or 8th month of the book publishing. So the point is that, to be fair, we have to give them the time that is in that clause and not harp them. Now, my brother likes the communication to be there, and not every company is gonna be that. And that's where the sustainability comes in, tolerance. They are not doing it the way I like it. I like prompt response. If I'm asking a question, I want you to get back to me. Some people don't do that. And that's the reputation of that company. And then I'm pretty sure my brother is not going to recommend that publisher to anybody. And he's not going to go back there, no matter how good deal of a thing they give you. So that's why you have to understand the value you get. Is it worth it? Is it worth it of your sustainability? The third point is the loss. Now, my brother can walk away from his book and lose that money, all that he's put in, and just get a little bit fraction of it, because he's willing to give money back And that's the same thing is with the contractors that you hire today. If you give them, some contractors say, oh, you have to give 50%. I have had people come and say like, oh, you have to give 50%. I said, sorry, that is not going to happen. You're going to get a third to start off with. You're going to give me a date when you're going to start, when you're going to come. And as you do it, and then when you finish this project, let's do on the project. This from say they are renovating my kitchen, I would say, okay, from demolition to buying the materials and materials in my house, I want them in here, I'll give you a third. That's how it's going to be. I create addendums to the contracts. Remember, you can always negotiate contracts. It's not a set and hard rule. I know they say, oh, this is our policy. Yeah, it's your policy, but I'm a customer and I have my policy. On contractual, I do. Now, I don't know people who say, oh, you can't do that. No, I can't. There is always a deal that I can do that I have leverage in. You cannot just hand over the check to anybody. Now, some people do that who have plenty of money to play with and they're okay with it and they got top-notch lawyers. So if you mess with them, they will take you to the cleaners. So that's a different point. But a daily person, average person who does contracts and does deals, you have to deal with it. And I give a third, and I have had no problems. Now, knowingly, I have handed over the entire amount of money, knowing to a family member that they could mess with this, and they did. Now, I had to value my relationship. I had to value the money. I valued the relationship, and I forgave them for what they did. And I kept on with my life. And no hard feelings, but I'm making a point about it. So anytime you feel like you're getting a deal, you got to keep an eye on it. Like, is it really too good to be true? Or is it? And sometimes it is, and people like, oh, it's just they're lying. Give them benefit of the doubt. Hear and read. Now, I'm not saying that I read everything. That's why I hire lawyers. So if they mess up, it's on them. And you go after the lawyer and say like, you recoup my money or you give me the money. So I try to use lawyers. Most of my business deals. In a nutshell, don't allow the value to get into your head so much that you forget that are you going to be able to tolerate. And don't forget that you are going to end up in a loss. And if you are in a loss, can you sustain that loss? Can you bear that loss? Because the whole point of this channel is for us to be built up, be healthy, strong in mind, happy, joyful. And if these things are gonna bring us depression, hurt, pain, and sorrow, then that is not a fair deal. Fair deal also is on the other side of the coin. Culturally, I'm Indian, so I'm saying this is I know my cultural people. They want a very good deal to the point it's free. But you cannot do that with everybody. You just can't. I have heard people, and some of my close friends have said, Divesh, your country folks just, I want to pull my hair out. Because they bring expired coupons and say, hey, honor this. Sorry, you can't do this. Or they say, give it for me for 50% off. It's not my father's store that I can just take off the shelf and give it to you for 50%. Now, there is a leverage that you can go. If you see there's a material that has got damage or whatever, and say, hey, could you do some discount on this? People say, okay, you know what, there is we want to sell the product. It's a final sale, but we'll give you. Now you bring the product home and it really goes bad, but it's a final sale and you go back and say, like, return my money, and then you get upset about it. That's not fair. It's not fair deal. It's not fair to the company. If they keep doing that for everybody, they will be out of business. So you have to look at the other side of the coin too. You it cannot be all about you. So if you own a business, you wouldn't want somebody doing that to you, that saying, just give me a good deal, just give me a freebie. No, you would want to make a living because you got family to feed. You got roof over your head. You got things to do. You got to live a life too. So always reciprocate what you want people to do for you in business. I have had people call me about this YouTube channel. There's one recently, a guy said, Nivesh, you do travel this. I have connection with publications. I have this magazines and this. I will do this for you. And I said, well, thank you for your kind words. I wasn't looking into it. Like, oh, it's not kind words. You pay me and I'll help you. I wasn't looking for any of that. But he was offering me services, which I was not looking for. But what value are you going to bring for me? Am I making any money out of this? Am I making anything out of this? You're not bringing any offer that's benefiting me. It's only benefiting you. So if it's only going to benefit you and not the other person, it's not a fair deal. A fair deal is that you make money, I make money, we both make good money, and we are happy. So think about, before you speak to somebody about bringing something value to them, that what are you offering where they can benefit. People want to sell all the time, but they don't want to buy. I'm about coaching. I love coaches, and I have family members who are coaches. Great. Coaches always want to bring, like, I can coach you to be better. Fantastic. I do need it but the amount you're going to charge me, is it a true value to what it's going to do for my business? Are you expert in this? So say for instance, I do real estate. And if you're a real estate coach and you have X amount of properties and you come to me and say, I can coach you in buying properties, look for what you need to stay away from this, I would be more than happy to, 4,000, here's $5,000. Of course, again, my contract will be a third. So if a session is happening, say, oh, this is the package I give. Okay, good. How about I break down the package, 90-day package, right? 30 days, I go with what you're going to show me. I'll give you the payment upfront, whatever. Next 30, if I find the value in it, I'm going to continue on the next session and give you a third. If it says, no, I can't do that, I want money upfront, or I won't have the money, then you're not the coach for me. Because what am I going to do? Now, I'm not saying that he can or she can give me any guarantees, because I have to do the work to get the results. But if your life doesn't prove to me what I want to achieve, then how are you going to coach me? So we have to look in those terms. And again, I am not saying that those people don't have words of wisdom that you can't learn. That is not what I'm saying. But for me to sign up for something with you, what value are you bringing to me? What can I see in your life? Now, again, all glimmer is not real, because people get conned. Somebody driving a Mercedes Benz and they come to you, and I'm a coach and I have made this much millions of dollars, right? Who knows? They rented the car and they came and you hand them 10 grand. They create a Facebook page or this, and they say, I have this many followers. I mean, people get conned day and night. But you can easily say from their verbiage, the attitude, the way they make you feel, you can pick it up. And that's something I would say about me. And I'm not saying I'm all that and bag of chips. I'm not a book smart necessarily. I'm a street smart. I understand the body language. I understand how you're talking to me and what you're signing me up for. We all have been through timeshare thing. You won't believe me. Into a timeshare property. All I wanted was to rent a timeshare, and I gave them like $1,500 for a week to stay. I mean, it was not even a week. It was 3 nights or 4 nights, something like that. And they said, this was before I knew anything about timeshare. They call me in, there'll be only a, 45-minute presentation, and we sell a product, and if you like it, you can. If not, you just enjoy your stay. We give you free food and stuff. And, just come with your wife and so. And I did, and this was in Florida. I go there, and they were like sharks, literally, ready to eat me alive. They're coming up with, and I said, no. They brought the big boss. Like, I see you. I said, look, I came here to rent your condo or whatever the time thing I spent. It's very nice. It's fancy. Everything is up, and this was like 20 years ago, I was a young guy. And he's like, all you have to do is give us today $1,000 deposit. You don't have to worry. And you get this, or, they give me all the spiel. And, I don't want to use most of my time explaining timeshare, but all those who would see will understand what I'm saying. And it's a great program if you want that. I won't say it's a bad program, but you are tying a noose around your neck because the contract is hard to get out of and you can't even sell it. It's hard, very hard. I ended up saying, I took the paper and pen from the guy and I did a big toilet bowl. And I said, all that you're talking is this. It's going through the toilet. The money that I'm going to put in is going to go down the drain. It's not for me. He got frustrated. He was upset and he left. And I'm like, okay, so you really wanted me to buy, and I can just see your reaction because I wouldn't buy your product. And there were people getting champagnes and stuff because they signed up and they did not realize they were signing their life away. So long story short on that is contracts, read them twice, 100 times if you need to. Find the fine prints. And remember, even if they have all that, you can make addendums and say, I want to add to this. We can't do that, then it's not for me. Walk away from the deal. If it's not putting you in the benefit on the leverage, walk away. Understand the sustainability, that it's gonna be work. You need patience. It's gonna be hardship in that contract. It's not all bed of roses. And then be willing to stomach the risk of the loss. So don't put any money in that you're not willing to lose. That's just the game of life. So I hope I have helped you make a decision on making a fair deal. And always remember, it should be fair both ends. Do not try to get freebies and say you don't get anything because it's not fair, So look out for the other guy because they need to feed their families. Don't be the person taking advantage of the other. So it's just, that's why I love the Bible. And it says in the Bible, be smart as a serpent and harmless as a dove. We as people should love one another, care for one another, and change this world where it's a dog eat dog. No, I respect you, you respect me. Let's have a fair deal. So go and seek a fair deal in your business and make sure that you are respected and you respect the party and come out winners. Both are winners. All right, by this I will say, if you like this video, like, subscribe, and share. If you have any thoughts on this video, please share with me. I would love to hear and learn from you because I don't know it all. So your experiences or what else I could add to my knowledge that I already have would be very beneficial. You have a wonderful day and we'll see you later.